A murderous emperor with a passion for genocide, the most fabulous nails, deep in black ops with a star fleet, and a weapon of mass destruction. You're a woman after my own heart.
Oh.
Philippa is back. How does it feel?
Oh, murder and mayhem with a flair of fashion? Sounds like the real thing, right?
Absolutely.
No, I feel absolutely good to be here. Thank you for having me.
No, you're more than welcome. Murder and mayhem, you're absolutely right, with a flair for fashion. The outfits are extraordinary.
Yes, thanks to Gersha Phillips, who I've worked with since Star Trek Discovery. And then we also had a joint venture with Balenciaga, whom I'm the brand ambassador of.
Right, so that explains the beautiful togs. Were the nails anything to do with Cynthia Erivo? Because the nails are phenomenal in there as well.
I think that was what it was when we thought of Philippa Jojo. Now that she's in this world of her nightclub, her baram, she was supposed to be this mysterious figure, and she could look completely different from what she was before. And we thought, you know, she's a walking lethal machine, right? So every part of her can turn into a weapon at any point. So her nails were designed, if we ever wanted to do it again, to go. So I'm going to tell Cynthia to do that too. And hers are much longer than mine, bless.
What Philippa and I also have in common, your character in Section 31 is, she's quoted as saying, you know, she could kill her crew at any point.
You're prone to saying
Well, you've seen
that.
my crew, right?
Is that why they stay away from you?
It's why they're keeping their distance. But that's the beauty of the character as well. Why do you think Philippa has become such a popular character? She's a true fan favourite, isn't she, in the Star Trek universe?
I think it's because she's, first of all, she's very unique. When I got to play her in Star Trek Discovery in season 1, as the most beloved captain, benevolent, you know, good leader, and then she gets killed by the Klingon. But then when I come back as the Emperor, Philippa Jojo, and I remember the first thing that comes out of her mouth is like, "Don't you bow when you see your emperor?" I mean, you're like, how can you not love her? She's like a woman of such power. But then like here in Section 31, where now she's roped in because she is given a chance for redemption, and we see there's another side of her. And we like she's not the hero that's the normal stereotype one. She's the one that you discover and think, maybe, you know, there's a little bit of us in her, but how do we turn around and make it good, make it all better?
Yeah.
So with her, the journey becomes very interesting. It's very dark, but then without the dark, how do you find the light? So through Philippa, I think we also iron out our own issues, you know, in many ways, just not the murder part. Just please, not the murder part. I try not to go into method acting when I'm with Philippa Jojo.
That's comforting for me and my aforementioned crew here today as well. You are a devout Trekkie, right?
Yes. I am devout, but I am hopeless when you ask me to, you know, really tell you all about the real history and things like that. So I'm devoted to the Star Trek family.
And you're very happy in whatever universe, the mirror universe or otherwise, which is very apparent, because my first takeaway from watching you in Section 31 was how gleeful you must have felt playing this part, because, as I say, she is an extraordinary character. And my goodness me, the stunts. Now, the phrase roll with the punches doesn't do you justice. How was the physical side of it?
I love it. I really, really do. I think, you know what it is? It's like, I feel I have the capability of doing it, but then most important, I have an amazing team. With my director, Tunde, we have Chris Maguire and his fantastic stunt team, and they do all not just the choreography, but the understanding and the collaboration on why is this character doing this? What's the drama? What's the motivation? And how do we make each fight different? because, you know, we only have 2 arms and 2 feet, right? So we use the costumes, we use the weapons that our props master Mario creates, and then we use the environment which Paul Kirby has designed, you know, whether it's the chandeliers, whether it's like jumping from room through the walls into another room. So the whole physicality is so much Philippa Jojo. And so it gives us such an amazing playground to have all these incredible, crazy stunts. You know, I jump off like the 2nd floor, crash onto the stage in my nightclub, you know, and people are wondering, like, is this a real show or is this a stunt?
I hope you're heavily insured.
Let's not go down that track.
You are surrounded by, obviously, a great cast as well, who make up the rest of the Black Ops team. And it's it being the Star Trek universe, there's some great characters in there. One of whom is very close to our hearts because he played Sean Slater in EastEnders, the one and only Robert Kaczynski,
oh my God,
who's very much a heartthrob.
He's so funny as well, you know, because he plays this half machine, half man. But he's got that great sense of humor where he's like, don't call me a suit, you know, I'm more than that. But that, you know, having this incredible cast, because you can't do this alone, right? And Section 31 is an interesting crew of misfits, but all of them are so charming, like Omari, and then there's Casey, and then there's Humberly, and then there's Sven, and Sam Richardson. You know, and he came off winning an Emmy, right? So every time when the lot of us are together, I just sit back and I just watch them in awe because, you know, like Rob, the things he comes up with, you know, he's like improv, all of them. And I'm going like, okay, this is not what I'm good at. I'll just, you know, chill.
I'm sure they're in awe of you, though, Michelle, as well. I mean, here you are, just a couple of years on from having won your Oscar. I want to talk to you about that moment. Right, I know, how does it feel? Because we all know, I mean, I've covered the Oscars so many times, and it's very much a campaign trail when you are counting down to the actual awards ceremony. What's it like when you're sat there waiting for your name to be called out or not to be called out?
Oh, it's terrifying. It's terrifying. Come on. I mean, honest to God, of course you want your name to be called out, right? And then you go, oh God, please, please. And I remember, because the campaign, that was my first ever experience with even the idea of being part of a campaign. And then you're together with all these amazing actresses who has been there numerous times because they've done this before, and you know, but they're also warm and engaging and, you know, helping you along the way, that sometimes you feel like this is not, we're not competing, we're just there together, just, you know, applauding each other. And just for me, it was just, I was so overwhelmed and just so happy to be part of it and to have a seat at the table where, you know, your work is being applauded. And it was the first time that an Asian been nominated for Best Actress. And I wonder, and still today, I wonder how could that possibly be? Because, you know, I've stood on the shoulders of so many amazing actresses to get to where I am, and I thank them for that. But at that moment, I remember the first thing that crossed my mind was, oh my God, my mom is watching this in Malaysia.
In KL?
Yes, in KL. My sister-in-law and my niece and nephews had helped organize this red carpet event. Yeah. And the time difference is such that they had to be there like 7 o'clock in the morning. But they did the red carpet, they were all dressed, you know, and she was in her ball gown. And I have to tell you, remind me to tell you another story about that. She was in her ball gown and all of that. And I thought, oh my God, what if I lost? What if they didn't call my name? What's going to happen to my poor mom? And I did ask my sister-in-law, what would happen if it didn't happen, right? And she says, well, it did. It's okay.
It did.
Moving on.
Because the footage is extraordinary of them celebrating there. Tell me the story about the ball gown, then.
Okay, so I came to the BAFTA, and I had this pink tuxedo cape suit. So trousers and all that. Then coming close to the Oscars, I get this message from my mom because of time difference. She's always leaving messages, and I hear this, and she says, you shouldn't wear trousers. And I'm like, I shouldn't wear trousers. What's mom talking about now? So she goes, when you go to the Oscars, don't wear a suit. Don't wear trousers. It makes you look short. I go, okay, thank you, Mom. And then she goes, you must wear a long dress. It will be much better, much prettier. So I thought, oh boy, I can't resist it. I have to play a trick on her. So I call back and I leave a message. I go, oh, Mom, it's too late. We have a special tuxedo made for me. I am wearing trousers. Next morning, I get this message. You tell them you changed your mind. You're not wearing the tuxedo.
Mums, they never change, do they? They say from the mouths of babes, but I think my mum, who watches me daily on this show, is my worst critic. And I always say to her, I'm the only 55-year-old man who you still know is wearing what he is to school. You know, it's a bizarre world, isn't it, when the lens is on you? That's terrific. That was quite a Philippa move of you to trick your own mother like that as well, right?
No, she's used to me. I do that to her constantly. I just can't help it, you know?
I know Oscar holds a special place in your heart. It was a big year for you. Not only did you get the Oscar, you got the Golden Globe, but you also got married as well. And
yes.
Mr. O was there, and I love this. So Mr. O is the name
yes.
of the Oscar, right?
That's right. My husband, Jean Todd, he named him Mr. O. And at this present moment, he and my mom share Mr. O. It's like, okay, he's coming back to Paris with me. And then now when I go back to Malaysia, okay, I'm bringing Mr. O back to Mom. So they have this little, okay, you have him for 2 months and you have him for 3.
So Mr. O travels
constantly. He has a special bag. He has a special box.
Are you serious?
I am totally serious. A very good friend, Michael, from New York, presented me with a box and say, now you can travel with him.
Well, to be honest, I wouldn't let Mr. O leave my side as well. And of course, so every chance that you'll be reunited at the Academy Awards this year because of Wicked. Now, that promotional tour, my goodness me, I was a spent force just covering it. You went everywhere, and it was just lovely. Talk about family affairs.
Yes.
Seeing the cast together, you could tell that it was very much the case, you know, with that film.
Yeah, it really was. I think this is really due to the amazing leadership of John M. Chu. You know, he's just simply a genius. He's so brilliant at what he does and how he brings all of us together. And, you know, casting Cynthia and Ariana, the two of them, they're like yin and yang. They just came together so different, but at the same time, so compatible. And that blossomed. So every time and at that point, I was doing the Oscar campaign. I was, you know, thanks to Mark Platt and John, I was able to, you know, shoot, then run off and do LA, New York, Santa Barbara, and Palm Springs, you know, and London. But coming back to London after that trip was always such a relief because I was just surrounded by love. I would walk onto set and I'd have these two beautiful girls just like hug you, and you feel that love. You feel that, okay, I'm home. I can just relax. And then, oh no, I have to sing. Oh God, I'm in trouble now. And it's wonderful. You know, people like Jeff, especially Jonathan. Oh,
our very own Jonathan
God,
Bailey.
Your
yes.
very own, the dashing Jonathan Bailey.
I know.
He's amazing.
We often get mistaken for each other.
I can see the resemblance.
As you heard from the polite ripple from the crew, they don't agree with you, Michelle. Wicked 2, obviously, is going to be... Is it going to be the same sort of campaign?
I hope so.
Yeah?
Well, you know, when you have such a big movie, it deserves that kind of campaign. I mean, it's a huge risk. Thank you, Donald Langley. Thank you, Universal, for having that confidence and trust, you know, in our movie, in Wicked. And I'm sure with Wicked 2, you know, there won't be anything less but the best.
I can imagine. The Oscars this year, obviously, are going to be all the more poignant because of the wildfires in LA, which have been devastating. And
tragic.
Devastating for people of all walks of life and also the industry as well. Calls initially from some parties to have the Oscars cancelled or possibly turned into a fundraiser. Tonally, of course, I'm sure they'll get it right on the night. Mm-hmm. But how do you feel about it? Because it comes at a time, obviously, when Hollywood is normally celebrating, but
yes.
there really isn't a lot to celebrate.
Correct. Correct. This is the time at these couple of months is when we started off with the Golden Globes. You know, we were all celebrating and all that. And then we went to New York. And the horrors, the tragedies started happening in LA. And I think nobody was prepared how brutal it was, how violent it just spread everywhere. And when we came back and things were canceled, were postponed, were delayed, and for all the right reasons, because, you know, what is more important? First of all, like, to put it into perspective, lives, you know, all the people who were losing their homes, it was terrible. But I am sure, because remember when we had to go through COVID, the Oscars went through that and they came out and they survived it and they moved forwards. But they always find a way. And I believe, because we have the people who loves and who are passionate with what they do, but we just have to prioritize how we are going to do it properly and move forwards. The Academy has started a foundation, and it's wonderful to see how many people have already been giving, because we can't help, because I don't live in LA, I don't have a second home somewhere where I can welcome some of my friends who have already lost their homes. And the only way we can help for us who are from far away is to make donations to people who can help, who are there, especially the firefighters, the people who are there right on the front line. I mean, thank you to them.
The first responders.
The
absolutely.
first responders, you know. And unfortunately, it's not over yet. So we are all praying and we're all hoping.
Amen to that. And I know, I mean, obviously you spend so much time working over here as well. I mean, this is...
Oh, God, when we did Wicked here, it was fabulous.
Yeah.
I love London. I mean, I don't live that far away from here, so it's always good to come back. But it was beautiful filming Wicked when we spent a lot of time, Ariana, Cynthia, and, you know, Jonathan, Ethan, Jeff. I think all of us truly had a fabulous time when we were here.
As we have here on Good Morning Britain. Thank you so much, Michelle, for coming in. Section 31 is a fantastic caper. I am not going to spoil it because there is an amazing cameo in it. I know. Our lips are sealed, right?
Yes.
Otherwise, those finely manicured talons will be sinking into me. Yeah, exactly. And there you have it. Michelle, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Richard.
God bless you.
No, thank you.